Hello and welcome. So today we're going to have a look another good look at my Royal Enfield here. We're going to put the original mirrors back on, and I think I'm going to turn these side mirrors around and make it face down, and then we're also going to drain some oil out of the motor because I think it's been overfilled. I think the previous owner that had this bike, he probably looked at the capacity and it's probably filled it up to capacity. But the issue is when you drain the oil out of these motors, you don't get all the oil out of it. So when you go to refill it, you've got to be really careful with how much oil you actually put in. And I think what they've done is they've just put a little bit too much oil in it. So I think we'll start with that. We'll start with draining a little bit of the oil out. So under the motor, we have two sump plugs. We have the main sump plug over here, and we have a secondary sump plug right there. So when they first built these, they used to only have the main sump plug, but generally you can't drain enough oil out of it. So in the revised models, they've added an extra sump plug up the front here, and that's just to try and get as much oil as you can out of it. So that way when you do your oil change, you've got like the most, I'm pretty sure there's a 2.5 litre capacity, and if you don't use both plugs, you barely get 2 litres out of it. But when you do use both plugs, you get around 2 litres, so that's like majority oil getting out of it. Alright, so now we'll undo that front side plug and drain some oil. Now I'll get my tub under there, and let's just get this plug out. And we'll get some oil out of it. Now as you can see, it's got a little window right there near the peg. And normally you can see the two lines for minimum and maximum. Now we'll just wait till we can see a little bit of air in there, and then we will put the plug back on. Alright, now we got a couple of 100 mils of oil out. I will just tighten that back up a bit. Give that a bit of a tight. Right. So we've got a couple of 100 mils out. Now what I'll do is I'll give the bike a quick start and turn it over, get that oil mixed in a bit again. And then just have a look at the measurements and see if it's got Alright, so we'll just let that oil settle down again, and we'll check the levels again, and we'll see how we go. So we'll move on to the next bit. So now we're going to put the mirrors back on, but over here this mount here had one of these screws like that just to block the hole, but it's obviously been sheared off, and I've ordered a new mount for it. So we'll start with that. We'll put the new mount back on, and then we'll put the mirrors back on. So first we'll undo the mount. So it's an 8mm. It's got 2 little 8mm screws holding it. Alright, so we should be able to take them off now. Alright, so now we should be able to take this mount off, and as you can see, I had the top of the screw completely sheared in there, so it's basically useless. So now I've also bought an original part. I bought it online. Put that back on in there. Get the screws back in. And now we'll just tighten them back up. Alright, and now onto the mirrors. Alright, so these are the 2 mirrors that I got. And then what we'll do is, or not. So that's the first mirror in. It looks a bit weird with 2 mirrors there, doesn't it? And now we'll get to the other side. Right, so first we'll unscrew this screw here. Alright. And just move that out of the way for now. And we'll get this mirror in place. Alright, so now let's have a look. So that's heaps better. I can actually see now. I can actually see what's behind me. Alright, so now I just need a good tightening. Now, grab my Allen keys and I'll undo these side mirrors here. That's so I can take these side mirrors off. And what I'm going to do is and undo these. Yep, so that's pretty straightforward. You just undo the Allen key. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to install these down here. And that way I've got mirrors down the bottom as well. Undo that back up. And that's that. And I'll also line that up. Yep. Scoop there like that. Tighten that up in position. Because it's the worst when these move. They were pretty loose before and they were moving around a bit. So now I'll put this end back on. Try and get the right the right angle. Yep. Tighten that back up now. And once it's tight, alright, so that's that. Now tighten this back up. And that's a wrap. Check it out. Now, we'll just have a look at it one more time. I'll see how I go with these two mirrors because they can come in handy. Alright, so that's that. Give her another start. Alright, let's take the keys out. And what I'll do now is I'll just give you another look around the bike. Let's get the mirrors out from a distance. I think we'll see tomorrow when I take it out for a ride. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so now we have our original mirrors back on, and I've kept the side mirrors, but I've swapped them around so they're facing down, and that way I can see, you know, down low if I need to. Alright, and that's it for today, guys. Alright, like I said, thank you for watching, and until the next time.